Public is the investing app that melts together the worlds of social media and investing. They also refuse to make money in the same way that a lot of other commission-free investing services do by remaining payment for order flow free. Don't worry if you don't know what that means. It just means that they're turning down easy money because they say they have morals. In some ways, this app is fantastic, and in others, it is the most annoying app on my phone. So what's the deal with public investing, and should you use it to invest yourself? Let's talk about it. A little backstory for you on Public. They started their service in 2019, and they're really targeting like the average person, the average investor who maybe hasn't invested much or at all before. They're looking for somebody who is basic, who has basic needs, who wants to do kind of basic stuff, and they need to then learn what it means to invest and what to think about. And so they've developed this kind of community aspect in the app to help people teach other people what it means to invest and how to do it well, or so they say. And they have some pretty schnazzy like celebrity investors behind them with some names you've probably heard of. Will Smith, Scott Galloway, JJ Watt, Casey Neistat, Tony Hawk. Apparently a VC firm, which is venture capital, that was founded by the Chainsmokers, which is a music group. I think a celebrity investor is interesting, but it's not really meaningful to the average user like me or you. Just because Will Smith likes it or will invest in it doesn't necessarily mean that the service is good. And some good basic stuff about Public is that it doesn't charge a fee. There's no like membership. There's no monthly fee. There's no fees to trade. So buying and selling doesn't like require a certain fee. There's not a minimum investment amount. And so it's really easy for you to just break in and get started. And they obviously want you to get started because they offer everybody a little slice of a free stock whenever you sign up. So it pops up on the screen and it gives you the choice of a few different companies, and you can kind of pick whichever one you want and get the ball rolling that way. In my experience, this has been somewhere in the $4 to $6 range. So it's not like life-changing money, but it's very literally free money. It's free stock ownership. So that's cool. What Public offers in terms of like what it can do and what you can trade, what kind of accounts you can have, you can open a taxable brokerage investing account to invest very obviously in the stock market. They just added crypto recently. So if that's something you've been looking for or something that you would want in your investing platform, it's available now. I don't see any other options for any other kinds of accounts like a Roth or traditional IRA, for any kind of like custodial accounts for kids, an SEP IRA, anything else. No banking, no credit cards, no debit cards, nothing like that. It's just a very basic offering at this time. And they organize their kind of options as far as ways for you to think about how you want to invest in some kind of unique ways. They group them together in trends and industries and things that are popular, things that are new to the market. And then they have this whole slew of other kind of groupings that are fun, if nothing else. Like, I don't know if it's helpful, but it's definitely fun. Home and garden, genetic engineering, dividend stocks, immigrant founders, green power, cannabis, hashtags. Like, you can just look stuff up by the hashtag that people are talking about on Public, meme stocks, and just a ton of others. The fact that Public chooses to make money in the way that it does is pretty respectable. As of February 2021, they don't do payment for order flow, and perhaps that'll help them avoid Robinhood-like problems in the future. If you remember early this year, there was a big fiasco with Robinhood and people claiming that the way that they process trades was inherently self-serving and wasn't serving the investors. If you don't know, payment for order flow is when there's this middleman between the investing service, like Public, and the actual stock exchange itself. The middlemen take the order from like the Public of the world or the Robinhood or whoever. Those people are called market makers. Middlemen, market makers. Wow, it's a lot of M's. The conflict that this has caused in the past is, one, we end up paying for all the people involved to make money as end users. So it sort of ends up costing us more in the end. But the real conflict comes in the morality of that relationship. Some people have claimed that there's a conflict of interest and that it's immoral that this market maker can shift the investment firm's motives in ways that are more self-serving and less customer-serving. And because that same market maker has a lot of different forces pulling on it, then maybe they do things that even Public doesn't like. But the fact is that the market maker could be pulled in a direction by some power that is wanting something in particular to happen. This is all kind of vague, and the real problem here is just the power dynamic. If that all still seems confusing, think of it this way. Dunder Mifflin Paper Company was a middleman. They bought paper from the factory, which is like the stock exchange, and then they sold it to the end users, which are like the investment companies. They had a position themselves to uphold billed as like adding value to their customers, saying just give us a call, we can have better service, we can do this, we can do that. But they also created additional costs and sometimes headaches for those end users. Eliminating payment for order flow is like if those customers bought their paper directly from the factory. You can argue that that's a terrible example because that would mean that we wouldn't have had Dunder Mifflin. So it's worth it for everybody in that particular instance, but maybe not so much for payment for order flow. Speaking of how they make money, these are the ways they make money as per the public.com website. So they do a thing called tipping, which is very interesting and odd to me, where you can just literally give them some money like, hey, thanks for doing this for me, I'll throw you a tip. And so that's something I've never heard of before outside of this, but sometimes people do tip. I've not tipped. I've also not hardly done any trading on there. I think I have like $185 in public right now. I've not tipped, but people do tip. They make money from securities lending, from interest on cash balances, from markups on cryptocurrency transactions, which is new for them because crypto just started, and then from subscription fees. Like I said, there are no subscription fees yet, but they're planning on premium features in the future, and that would obviously cost you some money. As you can see by that list, and especially that last one, they're figuring out new ways to make money, i.e. crypto. And I think that's really lucrative for people, so I think that's why they're doing a lot of crypto nowadays. But they're obviously looking forward to either increasing profits via subscription fees and premium features, like maybe they're going to add some new account types. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have any inside info here, but they don't have many account types. So maybe to get the next level of account types, or to get some extra trading or some extra info or something else added that they don't currently have, then you'll have to pay a few dollars a month or a fee to do the trade or something like that. We shall see. Back to the social media feed. In my opinion, the social media feed is a time waster at best and the blind leading the blind at worst. It is kind of cool that they have CEOs and stuff on there periodically for like an Ask Me Anything kind of open forum thing that you can have access to these people and their experience and their knowledge, and it's like cool to be able to do that kind of thing. But otherwise, it really feels like noise. Like I mentioned before, I think the real reason that I have a problem with it is there's an inherent conflict in what an investing app should be trying to do versus what a social media app is trying to do. Social media apps have invented things like infinite scroll and constant notifications and all these things kind of blowing up in your face because they are a time vacuum. They're a vortex of time suck. So whenever you open them up, their goal is to take as much time out of your life as possible. And an investing app should be not that at all. Why should I need to check my investing app every single day? Like, unless I'm a serious day trader, I should be able to do my investments and then leave it alone. What is there to look at? The app isn't meant to steal all my time. But even if public had altruistic motives whenever they set this up and said, let's make this a social media app, let's make this something where you can invest wisely and well, and you just happen to be able to talk to your friends on here too, the problem is that whenever you mix those two ingredients in one pot, you end up with a thing that makes you kind of want to check it every single day. And that then makes you potentially want to trade more because people are talking about making trades. It's giving you updates like you're down or up this much today. That company that you invested in is down or up this much today. You're getting pulled in all these directions and being incentivized to make changes, which again, statistically makes us worse investors. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised at this because public's job isn't to make us better investors. That's something that I'm putting on them. That's something that if I had an investing service, I would want everything about it to be funneled to give you whatever info you need and nothing else, to take whatever time it takes and nothing else for you to make the best decisions, for you to make the most money possible. So it is a little unfair of me to hold them to that standard that I've just created in my mind for what an investing service should be or for what I would want my investing service to be, when that's clearly not what they've stated. Like, that's not their goal. Their goal is to make money and have a social platform, an investing platform, and all that stuff. But when you look at it, like, you could download the app and you could check it out, or maybe you already do look at it. The social platform to me isn't even that great either. Like, it's pretty much a post and then a little bit of commentary and that's it. Like, there's links to other articles, but there's nothing that's really natively done on here that's that interesting or unique or special. You can't like make a video and post it on there like I did with you here on YouTube. And I realize I'm like trouncing this thing overall. And I don't mean to say that this is the worst app for everyone. No one should ever use it. It's just terrible, because that's not the case. Like, I have chatted with a couple of very nice people on public. They've found my videos. They've reposted my videos on public to share with other people. And that's a really nice thing. Like, that's kind of what this is about. Let's share information with each other. Let's help each other out. If you are looking for someone to talk to about this topic, here's somebody. And they do a good job of that. The few people that I've talked to are actually actually very helpful and fairly altruistic in the way that they post. And so you guys know who you are. Thank you very much. I think you're some good guys out there. But for me, whenever I think of what social media I want to use, the established platforms are really checking all the boxes. For me, I've only got so many hours in the day. And so I'm going to pick 1.5, maybe 2 social platforms. I'm going to actually use those. I'm going to know those. And then nothing else has any room in my life. I get to kick those things out. Overall, in my opinion, the fact that the investing platform is not as capable, not as diverse as some others, and it has the added distraction and complication of a social network makes me hesitant to recommend it. I would love to help 100,000 people get started investing. And if you think public is the best service for you, then go for it. Turn this off, get started right now, find the link in the description or someone else's link, anybody's link, get that free stock and get the ball rolling. If you've watched this because you're thinking about either getting a new investment account or your very first one, then I would say go with Acorns instead. Check out the description of this video for some links to 2 or 3 other videos that I've made about Acorns so that you can see more about it there. If you're looking for an investing app with a bit more control and features, and a lot more features than public, frankly, check out M1 Finance. I've also done a 2-year review of that, and that's in the description too. Hey, because I love spreadsheets and because I am who I am, I made a spreadsheet to rank all of the investing services that I've used. For public, I've actually been using it now for close to 6 months, and my first score that I rated on is cost, and it's a score out of 20. I gave it a 20 out of 20 because it's free. Ease of use is an 18 out of 20. Features and services is only, gosh, a 10 out of 20, and I think that's even pretty generous here, guys. I mean, you've got features and services over and above an investing platform in that you have the social media platform, but 10 out of 20 is pretty generous. For thoughtful or helpful design, I gave it an 8, even though it doesn't help you to think long-term and it forces you to really think short-term and day trading wise. It's just so intuitive and really nice looking. Speaking of nice looking, for beauty, I gave it an 8 out of 10. For extra or paid services, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Obviously, there aren't paid services, but as an extra service, it has a whole social media account and app attached to it. It's all in one there. So that's kind of a huge extra if you're looking for that. For massive glaring faults or negative out of 10, I didn't give it any kind of negative score there because I didn't think anything was that bad that I needed to actually deduct points. And for overall satisfaction out of 10, I only gave it a 6. It's pretty bland. Like whenever you're on there, if you don't want to see what everyone else is saying, there's not really much to look at or do. So it's only a 6 out of 10 there. As a total, that's 77. And so it gets a 77% score overall. Not terrible, but also far from great. You've watched to the end of the video, and for fun, I like to have a secret comment section for those of us that make it this far. Today, the secret comment word is something about thumbs up or thumbs down. Could be about anything, could be about me, could be about what you had for dinner. I just think that that would be a funny thing to see, kind of a thumbs up or thumbs down. That makes it stand out, and so I get to keep an eye out for it because these are my favorite comments overall by far, these secret end comments. If you'd like to watch more on a similar topic, I'd recommend watching my reviews of M1 Finance or Acorns to see what those investing apps have to offer in comparison to public. And if you'd like to see more behind the scenes updates on my upcoming videos or ultramarathon training, then follow me on Instagram. That's the only other social media that I really use, and that's where I put pretty pictures of desert sunrises on mountain trails or anything else that I find kind of interesting, and I put stuff up there pretty much daily, so feel free to follow me there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.